Hello everybody, welcome to my craft space. I hope you're all having a great day. I have been asked to do a very different video today by Mandy at Sunflowers and Doors and Justine from House of Mahalo. They have a Facebook group called Junk Journal Ideas and Inspirations. They are celebrating their 1-year anniversary of that Facebook group, to which they have about 9,000 members. Congratulations, girls. Well done. My name is Cheryl, for those of you who don't follow me on YouTube, and I am humbled and honored to be part of this celebration. So thank you both. I have a little cheat sheet so that I don't forget anything and I don't go over my time, which I have to set my timer. Okay, there we go. Because you all know I'm very chatty, for those of you who follow me. So if you type in hashtag may you be inspired by, you'll find all of the wonderful creators of junk journals who have gone before me, and then all of the ones who will come after me, and I will leave a playlist in the description box below. What we are supposed to do is give you a brief sort of idea as to how we got into junk journaling, and maybe some tips and tricks for anybody who might be starting out, or even those who have been junk journaling for years. I started out junk journaling, well, I started out paper crafting when I was about 5 years old. I would cut out the little girls out of the Sears and Roebuck catalog, and I would cut out the clothes and make my own paper dolls. When I was 7, I got my own set of paper dolls. And when I took them out of the hope chest not too long ago, it brought back a lot of memories, and I had to laugh. They were my best friends. This is Linda. And as you can see, they were well loved. They have taped necks, and I mean, there were a few in here that I looked at and I thought, oh my gosh, this poor boy. He's got a collar on. His name is Peter, and he was 6. Chris, he was, at one time he was 10, and he was 17, and then he was 8. So I don't know what. I don't remember really. I was 7. But I think I played with these until I was probably 12. And this is what I have left. So anyway, is she the one? Oh, poor Connie, she's missing her head. But she's, oh, here's Sally. Sally actually has a collar on. I had to laugh because at the time, I guess I used masking tape or something. Probably something out of my father's tool shop. But anyway, that's how I started my paper crafting journey. Shortly after that, in the 3rd grade, I was asked, well, my 3rd grade teacher asked the girls in the class if anybody would be interested in learning how to sew on a sewing machine. And I, of course, said yes, pick me. And so she showed us how to create a pattern, which was fabulous because it was paper. And then she you know, told us to go to the fabric store in our local town and choose some fabric and make a garment of our choice, to which eventually I did. It took about 6 months, and we did it after school every Thursday. And I made myself a gray wool jumper, to which I wore. I wanted to wear it every day. Actually, my 2 oldest daughters wore that jumper once. They hated it. but I made them wear it anyway. Photos. So anyway, that's how my paper crafting started. And my journey to crafting, pretty much. And I've crafted lots of things, but sewing was really my joy. I kind of got away from the paper and started the sewing. I made my own clothing, and I made quilts. I made my children's clothing when after I got married. I made my grandchildren's clothing, mostly the girls. Christening outfits. My daughters, when they got married, I made their bridesmaids dresses, that sort of thing. I then became, that led me, even though I didn't go to school for it, I went to school for social work. I applied for a job at a theater in Orlando, and it was just, a job that I thought, I wanted to get a job outside the home. My children were all, ready for me to be outside of the home. And so I thought, retail or something like that. And they saw that I had, some sewing skills, so they asked me if I would like to be in the sewing department, in which I said, yes, of course, I'd love to. So I did, and I became the costuming manager. Shortly after that, I costumed 2 movies, Christian movies. One was One Night with the King, and I continued sewing. In between that, I would dabble in my thousands of photographs and make photo albums. And I did that from the time my children were born, because we had so many photo albums. And my father-in-law and my mother-in-law kept many photo albums, to which I still have today. And they would be 107 in heaven right now. So I started doing that sort of, through the years. And then I became part of Creative Memories, which is scrapbooking. And I started that in the early 90s. And then I became a person who, I can't even remember, I'm so nervous. Anyway, I was with Creative Memories for 17 years. And I loved it. I made 5 beautiful journals for my 5 children. And they started from birth to graduating from high school. And like I said, I have thousands and thousands of pictures. Thank God for digital, because my husband, we just have boxes and boxes of pictures, and we have so many photo albums. Well, I started getting bored, so I went on YouTube and started looking for more inspiration, because it just, I was not having a good time anymore. I don't know, I was bored. And so, but I still had so many pictures, and I loved working with paper. So I was still making quilts, and, my children were getting married, and I was making wedding ring quilts and things like that. And so, but paper, really, I just couldn't get away from it. And so I decided that I would make these scrapbook albums, and I made them for my 5 children from birth to graduation from high school, starting with my first daughter, who is now 43, to my youngest, who is now 27. Got bored with that, like I said, and looked on the internet for some inspiration as to where to put photos and what to do with them. And I came across a woman named Crafty Irina. And I watched her YouTube video, and it was so inspiring. I watched it I don't know. I must have watched that video 5 times. So a couple of days later, I went to my bookshelf. I grabbed a book like she had, which is this one. She made an altered book. That's what this journal is called, an altered book journal. And when I pulled this out the other day and started looking for it through it, I was amazed, actually. I did make it like a scrapbook. As you can see, it has photos. This is my youngest daughter. But what really got me was how I covered it. When I was in school, grade school and high school, we had to cover our books with paper bags to keep them nice because they had to go to the next person who came after you. And I didn't know how to cover a book or anything, and I wanted to cover it with fabric because, I don't even know what book this is, but, it was just a book I wasn't reading anymore. And so I covered it just like I would when I was in high school, and I thought, how brilliant. All these times I've been trying to cover these journals, and I pull out this journal. I'm like, hello? This was so simple, right? So, your first tip, right? Because then you can just make a pocket out of it. And I glued it right here and here just to keep it on. But it's covered exactly like you would when you were in high school, if you're my age, and you had to cover books. So, this is made out of nothing but book page and scrapbook paper. Oh, and stitching, because of course I sewed, and lots of fabric because, I had lots of fabric. Lots of stitching. And then, people talked about staining paper, tea stain paper. So I looked it up and found out how to tea stain paper. And I just, I took, things I had in the house. This actually came from a pack of stickers, and I just covered it with some notebook paper, So that was my first journal, and I adore it. I love it. And so that's, this is out of a gardening magazine. I was an avid gardener. I still love gardening. These were seed packets because I had a vegetable garden, and it's Peter Rabbit. So I took apart one of my Peter Rabbit books, as you see when I go on, and, made and stitched, of course. I stitched everything. Fabric, more fabric. And made a scrapbook junk journal. And so yeah, that's what I did. And so that was my first journal. And I was fortunate enough to be with Creative Memories, so I did have scrapbook paper in the house. I didn't have to buy anything, and I had, a book that I was able to take apart. I have several. She's my favorite author, so I have a gazillion Peter Rabbit books, and so that's how I made it. So then I was asked, and then I joined a group making ATC cards because I wasn't real confident in, as I, looked at other journals and other creators, Roxy Creations, Rachel and Tracie Fox, and, Artie Mays, and all these people, and I was like, oh. Then I met Gail Agnestelli, and I probably said her name wrong. I'm sorry, Gail, if you're watching. And I was just overwhelmed, but so excited. But I still was so unsure. So I started making ATC cards, and I joined a group making ATC cards. well, we swapped ATC cards. Those are artist trading cards for those of you who are new. And I unfortunately did not bring out my ATC book, but it's full. And through that, I made, a lot of us became pen pals. And today, 4 years later, I have 5. Israel, the Netherlands, Finland, Germany, and France. And every month we write each other letters and send each other a little happy mail and keep up to date with each other. And that's been wonderful. I've journaled my whole life, starting at about age 10, in a diary. And then I, moved on to notebooks. And then I started buying journals. And every year, my daughter, for Mother's Day, gifts me a journal, which I got yesterday. And it says, breathe. This one is beautiful, and my time is up. Well, 15 minutes is done, so I'll move very quickly. I am determined to speak truthfully with words that inspire self-confidence, joy, and hope. If I have to leave you with something to inspire you, for those that are new or perhaps even in a funk, start with magazines, books from bookstores, used bookstores, magazines you get free from, this was free. It came in the mail. One time I was asked to join a design team doing mixed media. I had never done mixed media, and I wasn't able to use anything but book pages, inks, paint, whatever. I had never in my life done anything mixed media. So I went to Artie Mays and I watched her, and I did some things, before I turned mine in. I had to send a picture, obviously. This will be in my craft room for the rest of my life. So it began, and I cut a log from out of a magazine and some butterfly wings. This was a butterfly from some magazine. And this is like a little light, and I made like a little chain with some, I don't know. I did a lot of glassy accents. This is a little bunny I cut out of a book. Some more bunnies. This is Light the Way to kind of bring this together. And that was my first design team. I was accepted, and I was thrilled. I would start small. You can go as small as this. This is a junk journal. It literally has lace, pockets, little ephemera. You can make a junk journal in a tin can. Like this. Simple. It's so simple. You could make something like this that was gifted to me recently. How brilliant. It's music paper, napkins, feels like leather, decoupaged. You open it up, and you've got a junk journal. You've got paper, a pocket, a tag, pocket, and there you go. You have a junk journal. When I got into digitals, I made this. But I backed every single page with this black paper to make it look like a photo album. And I always love quotes, so I type out my own quotes. Plant your own garden and decorate it with your soul. I love quotes. I always put quotes in my journals. My husband got me a Cricut machine. I highly recommend it. You can do so many things with it. I'm very technologically challenged, so this is a good machine for me. So as I leave you today, oh, let me just, one more thing. Freebies. Last year, Angela Kerr, and a lot of people give freebies in their Facebook groups. And Angela Kerr gave this freebie. Everything in this freebie, I made myself a December daily. And unfortunately, due to circumstances, I wasn't able to write in it this year or do anything with it. But all I did was took the freebie, I printed it. If you don't have a printer, perhaps you could ask a friend to print it for you. Or, I don't know, take it to the library and print it there. Or to a photo shop, a printer shop, and ask them to print it for you. Because it's free. And then all I did was I took what she gave and then I added just tea stained paper and what she gave. And I made myself a December daily. And that was it. And I had myself a beautiful December daily. And you don't even have to have charms. Glitter. And you have a charm. I mean, yes, I do have a charm on here, but I also make charms myself out of paper. But this one says joy. So start small. That would be one thing I would suggest. And then the last thing, and I call it, this is what I call junk journaling. I tell everybody. It is my paper, scissors, and glue. And more. Say, perhaps you slow stitch. Add that. And it just makes it pretty. And all it is just some lace and, you know, go through your dressers, your dresser drawers and your closets. Go through your pantry. Get out your old cookbooks and tear out a page. Fold it in half. You've got 4 pages. Like I said, magazines, old books. Here's another slow stitch I did. Yeah, and I made a pocket. So if you slow stitch, or even if you don't, I printed on fabric. I printed a postcard on fabric because I've been doing this for 4 years, but it's just an idea. And I put a little postcard in it. And then on the back, I just did some slow stitch. And then I'm going to add it to a journal eventually. So that's just some ideas. But what you need to start is a glue stick, a pair of scissors, some paper, and then, I don't know, broken jewelry. I keep thread in a bowl next to my sewing machine, and I add it, I'll show you, I add it to, and I've been doing this since I started. Hold on 1 second, real quick. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to give you an idea. There's a napkin in here somewhere where I put thread behind it. See? That's just thread from my sewing machine. That's a napkin. And I just put the napkin on a piece, believe it or not, on a index card. And then I just put the thread behind it and glued it down. So keep your thread in a bowl. And there you go. And just wind it up and put something on it and you have a cluster. Start small. My daughter gifted this to me for Mother's Day. And because every year I go through my journals, I have 23 full ones. This one says, I am determined to speak truthfully with words that inspire self-confidence, joy, and hope. And I want to leave you with that today. If you're not having a joyful time, it's not bringing you any confidence or inspiring you in any way, then take a break. Grab a coloring book and some crayons and color outside the lines. But in my opinion, all you need is paper, scissors, and glue to get started. Fold it in half, like so. Okay? And you've got 4 pages. Yes, it's white. But then, go through your magazine. Find a picture that inspires you. I don't know, anything. Here, look. Perhaps you want to make something and you say, oh, there you go. I'm going to make a sewing journal. So you just simply do this. And then just tear it. Lay it down. Cover your white. What a beautiful page. Of course, you know, if you don't like the white part, tear it off. Tear this off. Tear this off. Get some watercolor. Swish it around. And there you go. You've got your first page. Glue stick. I didn't even use my scissors. Oh, yes, I did. So scissors, paper, glue. And as you can see, this was free. It came in the mail. I don't know why I didn't order it. Glad it came. And that was off the top of my head. That doesn't happen all the time. You can ask those that follow me. So, again, congratulations, Mandy and Justine. Thank you so much for this very, very humbling opportunity to celebrate with you this month. Congratulations, and may you have many, many more years of inspiring me and all of you that will follow them on Junk Journal Ideas and Inspirations. Until next time, be well, be kind, and be blessed. Bye-bye, y'all.